Hello learners, my name is Mr. Paul Chilola once again. Welcome to Black Slides. It's a platform. Black Slides is a platform where you come and learn the sciences for free. Alright, for free, at no cost. You can come here, choose a video, a lesson of your interest, and you learn. Alright, so there are some of you who have already contacted me asking me if you can also learn privately. Yes, we offer private lessons apart from this channel. Okay, so you can arrange individualized lessons. We are available to teach you online individually, but we can also teach groups of people together online. But as long as you come on this channel, Black Slides online, you learn for free. The only expense which you can maybe incur is buying yourself an internet-enabled phone, which I believe you have. By virtue of you watching this lesson, it means you already have a phone. But also internet bundle. So I would ask you, if you're a student, you depend on someone for internet expenses, you have to ask for enough internet bundle. Explain to your sponsor that you'd like to join Black Slides to learn online while you are home. My name is Mr. Paul Chilola once again. So those who are interested to learn online must not hesitate to reach us. Must not hesitate to reach us on this platform, this number. This number is for you to use to contact us, so that we can arrange private tuition. So just send us a text message on this number. We'll be glad to come back to you to teach you actually online. All right, so welcome to the topic called ALKANOATES. ALKANOATES. Some prefer to say ALKANOATES. I prefer to say ALKANOATES or ALKANOATES. They are also called the ESTERS. They are called ESTERS. ALKANOATES are also called the ESTERS. They are also called ESTERS. So you can call them ESTERS, you can call them ALKANOATES. There's no problem. So what are they? They're just the organic compounds. They are organic compounds. Esters or alkanoids are basically organic compounds. Remember that in Form 3, your syllabus requires you to learn about organic chemistry. All right? So there are about 5, if not 6, families of organic compounds which you must learn at the MSCE, which is now. All right, so there are organic compounds called alkanes. which are also called alcohols. Then we have alkanoic acids. Which are also called carboxylic acids. Then we have alkanones, alkanals, or some say alkanals. I like that. Only also alkanones. These are basically sugars. Alkanals and alkanones are sugars. Right? And then we have alkanoates, which are also called esters, like I mentioned earlier on. Of course, you continue to look at the soaps, a process called saponification. We'll talk about that as we continue learning. Alright, so in this topic or lesson, we are going to talk about, we'll be looking at or discussing organic compounds which are called alkanoates or alkanoates. I've heard many people saying alkanoates, alkanals. They pronounce this in an interesting way, very funny way. I love it. Alkanals, alkanoates, alkanawat. Okay. So we talk about alkanoates. We are at the same time discussing esters. You have seen people having two names. Yeah, so a compound or substances can also have two names, namely alkanoates and or esters. It is okay. And take note that esters, the name ester, is sounding like a girl's name. Esther, but the spelling for a girl's name is this one, Esther. Esther. Like this. Esther. Yeah. That's the spelling for a girl's name. But for us in chemistry, we don't say Esther, we say esters. Thank you very much. So, what are alkanoates? What are alkanoates? What are they? And what are they made? How are they made? Alright, so we are answering a question that says, what are these? What are alkanoates? What are alkanoates? Or what are esters? And how are they made? So we are going to discuss this now. Sorry, I'm teaching while my phone is also being charged. I believe you have no problem with that. So, let us answer the question that says, what are they? So, these are compounds. Alkanoates or esters are just compounds which are formed so they are compounds formed when an alcohol reacts with a carboxylic acid. In other words, an alkanoate is the product of an alkanol, and the alkanoic acid. So when these two react, they form an alkanoate, an ester. Very important to note that. So an alkanol is basically an alcohol. Instead of saying alcohol, we say alkanol. Alkanoic acid is a carboxylic acid. So we are saying that these are compounds formed when an alcohol, which is an alkanol, reacts with a carboxylic acid or an alkanoic acid. I hope you understand that. So the reaction of an alkanol and alkanoic acid produces alkanoates. Usually the chemical reaction that leads to the formation of alkanoates or esters is a slow one, very, very slow. So because of that, you shall need a catalyst. Remember, a catalyst is a substance which speeds up a chemical reaction. So the catalyst which you can use to speed up the formation of alkanoates is the sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is H2SO4. I hope we're together there. Right, so far so good, right? Okay. So naturally the reaction is very, very slow. Very slow. You need to speed it up. Remember what a catalyst does? A catalyst speeds up a chemical reaction by lowering the activation energy of the reaction. That's very important. So, the process of producing an ester or an alkanoate is called esterification. It's called esterification. So, esterification of esters or production of esters or alkanoates is or belongs to types of reactions called the condensation reaction. Remember, in a condensation reaction, large molecules, usually two large molecules, combine together, and a smaller molecule is also produced. So apart from the main product, there is usually a smaller molecule which is produced. So a condensation reaction or esterification is a condensation reaction which produces alkanoates, which are esters, and alongside alkanoids, there is also a smaller molecule. That small molecule is usually water. So water is like a byproduct of this reaction. So the takeaways from this slide, what we have discussed so far, is that alkanoids are products which are formed when an alcohol reacts with carboxylic acid, or when an alkano reacts with an alkanoic acid. So we just mentioned that the reaction or the formation of alkanoids is very, very slow. So to speed it up, you need to add in sulfuric acid, a certain amount of sulfuric acid which acts as a catalyst. The formation of alkanoids is a condensation reaction in which a hydroxyl group and a carboxylic group, hydroxyl group is just an OH like this. Hydroxyl group reacts with a carboxyl group. Carboxyl group is COOH. So during this process, the OH and the H, these ones, will be removed, as you're going to see later, will be removed to form water. So any reaction in which, apart from forming the main product, a smaller molecule is also formed, is called the condensation reaction. So since this type of condensation reaction leads to the formation of esters, therefore the process is called the esterification. Remember that esters is another name for alkanoids. I hope we are sailing in the same boat. So the opposite of condensation reaction is called hydrolysis. And in particular, since we are talking about esters, hydrolysis of esters involves adding water to alkanoids to split them up into an alcohol and an alkanoic acid. So the process is called ester hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is when water is added to a compound so that it splits up in two separate compounds which made it. Very, very important to note that. All right, so I hope so far so good. So let's look at how we name alkanoids. Being able to name alkanoids is a skill on its own. And I would like to share you that skill. All right, so let's name some alkanoids. So alkanoids are named after an alcohol and a carboxylic acid from which they are made. Okay? So in order to name alkanoids, you must know the name of the alkano and the name of the alkanoic acid. Which reacted to form it. which reacted to form it. So we are saying alkanoates are named after an alkano and the alkanoic acid from which they are made or derived. Let's look at this example here. In this example, this is an alkanoate, okay? It is made of two parts. It is made of two parts. It's made of this part, which came from an alcohol which was used to make it. And the alcohol can easily be, you can tell, it must be ethanol. Why ethanol? Because it has two carbon atoms. So I can say C2 and 5 hydrogen atoms, C2H5. Then you have this O here. And before this reaction took place, there was an H which was removed. Okay? So, because it is made from ethanol, the first part is called ethyl. Ethyl. Ethyl is derived from the name ethanol. Similarly, if you look at this part here, this part came from ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid, which is the acid found in vinegar, has the formula CH3COOH. So during the reaction, what's going to happen is that the OH, which is this, just a minute, let's see. Let me rewrite this. Okay, so we are saying during the reaction, this one is this compound we are talking about is CH3C O, then OH. That's better. Okay, so we are saying during the reaction, this H and this H will be removed to form water, which is H2O. So if these two are removed, then you see that there is this oxygen that remains. That oxygen is this one here. It will form a bond, a connection between the alcohol and the acid. So since the alcohol that was made was ethanol, mention it first. But you don't say ethanol, you say ethyl. You say ethyl. Then the acid which was used was the ethanoic acid. So this part will complete the name to ethanoate. Ethyl ethanoate. The first part represents the alcohol that was used to make it. The second part represents the acid that was used. So when naming, you start with the alcohol part and finish with the the acid part, the alkanoic acid part. I hope we are together there. So, This first part, this one here, it's called ethyl, like I mentioned. This part comes from the alcohol, the alkano, and is named after it. So it's ethanol. From ethanol, we have ethyl. While this part here, beg your pardon, thank you. This part here, this one is the acid part, is ethanoic acid. So from ethanoic acid, we make the name ethanoate. Take note that the name starts with ethyl ethanoate. So from ethanoic acid, you remove the, let's see, if you have a name, let's say ethanoic acid. So you remove the ic part and add you remove the noic part, the IC part, and adding ATE. So you remove this to make ethanoate. From ethanol, you move the whole of this and add YL, ethyl. So you make ethyl ethanoate. So we are saying this part, the ethanoate part, comes from the name of the acid which was used to make it. All right, I hope so far so good. Just a minute. Hello.
Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, is it possible if I could borrow a biology textbook just for today?
Biology textbook. Where will I get that from?
Sir, this one was from some.
You see one there?
There used to be some source that was doing here.
She took it. She took all of them. I wish I had one copy just for you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm sorry about that. So that's basically how you would name ALKANOATES. I hope we are together there. All right. So another important skill which is needed for you to develop is being able to write a structure formula. Look at this. We have these two structures, okay, of ALKANOATES. This is the same one which we had previously in the previous slide. So it could be drawn as that one, ethyl ethanoate, could be drawn as this. Remember, this part represents the alkano part, and this part represents the alkanoic acid part. So it doesn't matter how you orient this. This is the same. You can see this is the same version. Yes. Good afternoon.
Have you seen Mrs. Elvin?
He must be in the hall. What about staff room? Yeah, if you see any teacher around the staff room, just ask for him. All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Alright, so we are saying that you can reverse this. You can reverse this. You can take this one, can go this side, and this one can come this side to produce this one. It will not matter, it's just the same. So identify the group attached to the double bond. Look here, we have the carbon-oxygen double bond. So the group to which this is attached is this part here. Mind you, originally before this was formed, it was an OH. So the OH or the H from the acid and the OH, the H from the alcohol and the OH from the acid together will combine to make water. All right, so the group attached to the OH is from the what? From the alcohol. We are saying the group attached to the O is from the alcohol. This part here is from the alcohol. This part here is from the acid. Together they were put together, they were reacted to form an alcohol. To form an alkanoate, which is an ester. So although the previous structure formula are the clearest way of showing esters, they can be drawn out in short. So this is the short form of drawing this structure here. Drawing this structure. So this structure can be shortened to these two. To these two structures. Very important. All right, so we are going to pick it up from here. When we meet again, I'm sure you have picked something. If so, comment in the comment section below, and tell us where we needed to make further clarification. My name is Mr. Pochilola. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.